Hey folks, Dan Frio here with your market update for July 9th, 2024. So what we're going to talk about in today's video is what's going on with interest rates. The Federal Reserve's meeting here in a couple weeks. We're going to show you the projections on where they're expected to do with interest rates. Now, there's some conflicting data coming out today. The Federal Reserve's kind of saying in one sentence this thing, and then in another sentence, they're saying something else. I'm going to put all this together for you. It kind of sounds like the political campaigns right now. And then we're going to go over the housing crash. When's it going to happen? I have some great details in today from Yahoo Finance, a great article in today. We're going to go over those in 1 second. But without further ado, here's where mortgage rates are right now. These are the top 6 products people use when they're buying their first house or refinancing or whatever else you might be doing. These aren't my rates, guys. These rates are compiled by Mortgage News Daily. What they do is they survey lenders all over the country and they ask them these 5 questions. The first 3 are, if you're buying your first house, it's going to be your primary home and it's a single family home. Then what these rates comprise of is this. We go over to here and I'm going to show it directly to you right in the form. It's a 75% loan to value, meaning you're putting down 25% and you have a 780 credit score. So if that's you, well, then that's your mortgage rate. If that's not you, then I'll give you all my information at the end of this video so you can reach out to me for some help, because I'm a licensed loan officer, licensed in all 50 states as well as Puerto Rico. If you're out there in Puerto Rico, I'd love to do a loan because I've never done one in Puerto Rico. But let's get to the data. So in our economic data today is basically Federal Chairman Powell. He's speaking all over the country right now, well, basically nationally. And that news is coming in and trickling in, and we'll follow that here throughout the day. So the next thing is, let's go to Yahoo Finance. Now, here's the discrepancy of things. And this is media, okay? So the first thing you're seeing is right through here. Powell needs more good data before rate cuts. Okay, so then if you see over my head right here, Fed Powell highlights slow job market and signals that rate cuts may be nearing. But here's the thing that really throws you for a loop. You go over to CNBC. Fed Chair Powell says holding rates too high for too long could jeopardize our economy. So it's like, well, what are you going to do? So to figure out what they're going to do, the only tool we have is to go over to the CME Fed Watch tool. Okay, so what is this? Well, this is the Chicago Mercantile Exchange puts this together, and they just give us the thoughts or the data behind when will the Fed, or what will the Fed do at the next meeting? Are they going to increase rates, drop rates, or whatever? There's basically not a chance right now that they're going to do anything in July. They're not going to cut. They're not going to do anything. But now let's look over the probability of what they're going to do in the future. So currently right now, the federal funds rate, if you guys didn't know, which I don't expect you to know, but it is 5.25 to 5.5. So you see that right through this column right here. So here's where the Federal Reserve meetings are. So in July 31st, they're meeting and there's a 95% probability they're not going to do anything. They're going to keep rates right there. So now in these July, August, September 18th is the next meeting after this one. And now there's a 71.8% chance they're going to cut rates. How do we know? Well, if you go from 5.25 to 5.5 to 5 and 5.25, that means they're going to cut rates 0.25%. Now, this is the data we're getting from the CME, so it's not me predicting these. We've been trying to use the Fed's data to kind of help predict what's going on, and the conflicting data we get daily is causing really havoc with a lot of this stuff. So the next piece of the puzzle is right through here. When will that housing crash occur? So this is great data. This is great data we have. So I'll try to put the link down below so you guys can get this article, because I think it was just published like today. Let's go through here. Where is it? July 5th. Okay, a couple days old. But a housing crash happens when values plummet due to lack of demand for housing or oversupply. So the thing we have right now is we have the lack of demand, but we just don't have the oversupply. How's that going? So we're going to monitor the supply as we continue to go through week after week after week. Housing market crash can happen multiple reasons, such as a deep recession. Are we on the brink of that? Well, we'll see. Or depression causing homeowners to lose their jobs, high mortgage rates making unaffordably, and a glut of available homes that didn't want or cannot be afforded. So that's what we see right through there. During the last housing market crash, house values went down 15%. Okay, so that's their definition of a crash, and I'll take it. But let's go down through here. Here's a bunch of ads, and then when will the housing crash occur? Okay, there is no signs the U.S. housing market is about to crash. In fact, the economy looks and expectations for the real estate market nationally are positive for 2024. A housing crash occurs when demand drops dramatically and housing values tumble. But you're going to say that housing demand is plummeting. It is. But if we had basically the normal amount of homes on the market right now, and we have the demand that we have, house prices would drop. So I'm on the bandwagon where a lot of the crash people are out there saying it should crash. Technically, if you take out all the stimulus and all the stuff that occurred during COVID, if this was just a normal market without the COVID relief in the middle, you probably would see a housing market crash. But because there's so much stimulus money in the economy, plus still stimulus money to be spent, you're not going to see that crash, okay? Going down through here. Now, here's some really informative information. According to the Washington Post, analysts, home prices have risen 54% since 2019. Now, I got to kind of call them out on this one. My house didn't go up 54% since 2019. So where they get a lot of this data, I don't know. But I wouldn't say most houses in the country went up 54%, which led to some economists to worry about the potential of a housing bubble that might burst. However, even with house prices continuing to rise, the pace of increase has slowed. And I'm going to show you that in a second. HEP projects a 3% increase in home prices in 2025 after a 5% increase in 2024, according to CoreLogic. So let me do this. Let's go over to this, see what this is. I went through and went year over year over year. Let me show you something. I put this together and it's just a rough draft of something. Okay, so here's my idea of a rough draft. Okay, so here's what they're saying. Home prices from 2019 to 2024 went up 54%. Okay, so let's break it down year by year. So what I did is let me get this out of the way. I went through here and I looked year by year. So in 2024, that so far this year, home prices are up 6.6%. And I went year after year after year. And here's what the data looks like. So in 2019, home prices were up 20%. In 2020, home prices were up 19%. In 2021, home prices were up 16%. 2022, home prices were up 6.5%. 2023, 2.4%. So far in 2024, 6.6%. Now, here's what I want you to understand. A lot of the crash people have been begging and pleading it's going to crash right through here. Okay, so let's look at the numbers. So if you heeded their advice and you didn't buy, let's just say you didn't buy in 2021, 2022. Okay, so you missed out on 16% increase, a 6.5% increase, a 2.4% increase, and so far in 2024, a 6.5% increase. So they've been saying it's going to crash since 2021, and the crash, by definition, is 15%. Okay? So where would you be if you bought then? Okay, you'd been up 6%, then another 2, then another 6. So basically, if you would have bought in 2021 at a much better rate, your house value, even if it dropped 15% from where we are today, you still wouldn't be down into the values that you would have purchased. Just a thought out there, folks. So yes, does it make sense that if housing went up 54%, it would crash? Absolutely. If I had a stock then in the last, I can't say that, but home values are only supposed to really increase, 4, 5, 6% nationally and historically. When you start seeing these, it's an anomaly. Okay, so what's going to happen? Well, again, you don't have the supply of homes in the market to really make the markets crash. By definition, we just went over. So what I'm trying to explain is, you sat on the sidelines for the last few years. Now, I'm not saying you have to buy a house, but what I'm saying is, if you would have bought a house, in here, even if you had a 20 or 15% correction like we saw in 2018, we had that in 2024, 2025, how far behind would you be while you're sitting on the sidelines watching the house values go up? So again, not everybody needs to buy a home, but I want to put a lot of this in the context because this data is very important, because I think a lot of people are staying on the sidelines just thinking, they see every day housing is unaffordable. It's unaffordable. It's unaffordable. It's going to crash. So if I'm sitting on the sidelines and I'm uneducated, I'm thinking, why am I going to buy this asset that's completely overvalued and finance it with interest rates that are at historic highs when I can just sit and wait for the crash and rates to come down? I get it. But the point is, are house prices going to go down, and how low interest rates are going to go? They're not going to be back in the 3% range anytime soon. So let's get over to the economic calendar to see if there's anything going right now with on my calendar. There's really nothing there. So with the MBS market right now is basically zero. You don't normally see that often. So right now, mortgage rates are not doing anything. Federal Chairman Powell, he's speaking all over the place. So what he says is going to kind of exponentially change these things. But right now, there's where mortgage rates are. So 7.01, I'm not expecting them to change at all, but I will be back later this afternoon with the closing bell to let you know how the day kind of transpired. So hopefully you learned something today when it comes to real estate, values, interest rates, and everything else. So if you're out there, like I said, and you didn't fit those 5 criteria that most people have to get those rates that I showed you, what can you qualify for, or can you even qualify? Well, I'm here to help you. Okay, my name is Dan Frio. I'm a licensed loan officer throughout the entire country. I'd love to help you if you're looking to buy your first house, maybe your first investment property, even if you're kicking the tires, maybe to refinance. You close back in October at 8. Maybe rates are in the maybe high 6s right now. Might save you a little bit of money. Not sure. Check it out. But go to the rateupdate.com. Here's our site. If you're looking to buy, the one thing I want to show you guys right through here is a grant finder. It's going to show you 3 of the grants that we're offering at this point. They're fantastic. There is no payback required on them. We also have one coming up in the next couple days. I'll be launching videos later today and tomorrow. It's for those in Illinois. In Illinois, we'll have a $10,000 down payment grant available to those who qualify. I'll be putting out all those guidelines here in the next couple days. So if you're in Illinois, keep an eye on my videos. You might have the ground floor of this down payment assistance program that we're coming up with as we speak. So thanks so much for watching, guys. Hopefully you find value in my channel. If you do, please do me one thing. Give me a thumbs up. Well, I'll do 2 things. Thumbs up, subscribe down right over there. Thanks so much for watching. Can't wait to see you at the closing bell. Have a great afternoon. Bye-bye.